Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Tin Man Score channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'll be back to my third and final scary storyteller channel. And this was Nightmare Files, and the video that I picked out to watch is The Haunting of Hill House, the true story of what really happened. So without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights off, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road and in the bag, shall we? Okay, here we go.
The Haunting of Hill House tells the story of several people in one of the most haunted houses in the country. The following families all experienced something that felt very much real to them. These are the real-life hauntings that inspired The Haunting of Hill House.
Okay.
When Janet and Jack Smurl first moved into their family home, the property needed repainting and refixing, but what they didn't know was that the renovations would be the least of their problems. Over a period of 13 years, they were tormented by ghosts that haunted the place. Janet was believed she was touched in her sleep by a demon, and Jack was also attacked by an unknown force as he watched a baseball game on TV.
Oh, heck no. Man, I feel sorry for them. They were thinking they bought a house just to move in and renovate, but I guarantee you, once you start renovating, the spirits that were attached to the house just got released and tormented you for trying to change things in there, probably. But anyway, let's continue with their story and see what happens next.
They also witnessed the family dog being thrown violently against the wall. Demonologist Ed
Holy
Lorraine
crap.
Warren identified 4 ghosts at the property: a harmless old lady, a violent young girl, a man who died in the home, and a demon who controlled the other 3 spirits. In 1987, the Smurl family had enough of the attacks, and they fled their home with no intention to return.
That lady right there is Lorraine Warren, one of the people that investigate the paranormal. Just wanted to point that out. But anyway, that's one way of kicking somebody else out of the house, haunting them and attacking them to the point where they can't stand it no more. Sorry they had to get up and leave like that, but they didn't have no choice. So let's see what the Perron family has to deal with.
In 1970, the Perron family moved into a farmhouse in Rhode Island, built in 1736. The previous occupant issued them a code warning: for the sake of your family, leave the lights on at night. The torment began almost immediately. Carolyn was awoken in the middle of the night by the ghost of an old, gray lady named Bathsheba, whose head hung loosely. The apparition warned the family to leave. The children also bonded with the spirit of a little boy they affectionately named Manny, who watched them through the windows as they played outside. And then there were other spirits who tossed them out of their bed, pulled at their legs, and filled the house with the smell of rotting flesh many mornings at 5:15 a.m.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to take that at all. But I think I heard of this story before. This is the story of that family that lived in the Conjuring house, which I heard they had a lot of violent poltergeist type activity in their property too. I even got all the way through the video yet, and I'm already getting chills up my spine just listening to what Nightmare Files dug up about these places.
To this day, the Perron family struggle to talk about what happened. Andrea Perron, now a grown woman, said, "Let's just say there was a very bad male spirit in the home with 5 little girls."
McPike Mansion.
In 1869, Henry McPike built a 16-bedroom mansion for his family.
16 bedroom, good lordy. Hate to imagine the cost of it getting built, but of course if they're wealthy, they can get something like this built up. But to be honest with you, if it's like nestled in the woods, like in Maine or upstate New York or some colonial town, I mean, I wouldn't mind buying and moving in. It's the right price, of course, and don't have to do that much repairs. That is a nice house, from what I could tell in this black and white photo.
In the 1900s, the mansion was sold to Paul Lechinger, who rents the rooms to boarders. However, those who did stay there soon began to hear strange noises, including children talking and laughing together, although children were not on the grounds. Following the death of Lechinger in 1945, the mansion sat vacant until 1994 when Sharon and George Lucky purchased the property. Sharon soon noticed that the ghost-like man would stare at her from the windows as she was guarding. Other disturbances included orbs being caught on camera and heavy metal doors opening on their own. Ghost hunters have confirmed that the most paranormally active room in the house is the wine cellar.
Well, I definitely don't want to live in that place if it's haunted. Because imagine you're out there gardening or doing something outside and you see somebody staring down at you. I'm running in and see if anybody broke in, but if they're not there, I'd be like, oh, heck no, I'm packing up and leaving. Especially if you see orbs floating around or hearing doors slam real hard. My nerves would be jumping like crazy. But also, if you try to do any renovations to that place, you just don't know what you'll be unleashing. But I also like to point out that most of these old mansions are getting bought up just to be run as apartment complexes to rent out. Or you never know, sometimes it might be used as a ladies of the night type property, if you know what I mean. That is very creepy of what's happening in that place.
In the mid-1800s, Lucy Chase Sprague lost her fortune and died penniless in the Sprague Mansion. The property has stood with a dark cloud over it since then. In 1967, Robert and Viola Lynch moved into the 28-bedroom mansion that featured its very own creepy doll room. In the late 1960s, Bob Lynch Jr. and a few of his friends had their blankets thrown off of their beds. Using a makeshift Ouija board, they contacted a ghost that spelled out, "Tell my story."
Why would you do that? Like I said in my videos that I was reacting to that had something to do with Ouija boards, I always warn you guys, don't mess with Ouija boards because you might end up conjuring evil spirits or something bad might happen to you or somebody else in your family. But if a ghost says, tell my story, what else can you do? You don't tell the story, spread the legend, they're going to still be furious. But I actually kind of like the size of this mansion better than the other one, but that's just me. I don't know about you guys.
Another entity haunts the place is a ghost by the name of Amasa Sprague, whose body was discovered and bludgeoned to death close to the house in 1843. Since the Lynch family moved away, paranormal experts have visited the mansion, captured the doll's eyes in the doll room moving on camera.
Oh,
The
heck
wine
no.
cellar is also a place of much paranormal activity, including orbs and unexplained lights.
I can imagine one of these dolls moving their eyes at the camera. I'll be creeped out. Enfield Haunting.
Between 1977 and 1979, there was one ghost story that gripped the world, the Enfield poltergeist. Within this home, single mother Peggy and her two young daughters were tormented by a violent poltergeist. Sisters 13-year-old Margaret and 11-year-old Janet complained of menacing voices, loud banging, and chairs being overturned in the house. Janet will also become possessed and speak in deep, demon-like voice belonging to 70-year-old Bill Wilkins, who had previously died at the house. Press photographer Graham Morris, who was asked to report on the disturbances, recalled, "I thought it was an ordinary job until I walked in the house." Morris managed to capture a famous photograph of young Janet levitating out of her bed as her face twists in horror.
Oh, is that what is happening here in this photo? I thought she was just jumping out of a bed. But no, I can see her legs are just folded up and her arms are extended and she's got her mouth wide open. But I can tell that it looks like it's getting distorted. I'll be calling a demonologist right now. Lemp Mansion.
Built in 1868, the Lemp Mansion is a cave where the Lemp family brewed their own beer. In 1901, William Lemp was left devastated when his fourth son, Frederick Lemp, died of ill health. In 1904, William committed suicide by gunshot and William Jr. took over the family business. In 1920, Elsa Lemp Wright, the youngest Lemp child, shot herself after her divorce. As a result of Prohibition, The family brewery was sold at an auction after hitting hard times, and Billy Jr. shot himself in 1922.
Golly. Makes you wonder, was there even a bad paranormal presence back in them days just to make everybody depressed and shoot themselves? That's 3 family members. The father, daughter, and son. Because they all hit hard times. Man, that is just too tragic to hear.
Years later, in 1949, Charles Lemp, the third son, shot himself in the head after killing a dog. The only surviving son, Edwin Lemp, died of natural causes, and his dying wish was for everything in the family to be destroyed. Not surprisingly, the Lemp Mansion is now a restaurant and is said to be haunted. One legend is that there was another Lemp son who was born deformed and hidden away in the attic. His spirit is believed to hunt and torment the house.
Oh, lordy. A curse of misfortune, I might as well call this case. And one son died of natural causes, but he said everything of the families must be destroyed. I'm surprised they didn't tear down the Lemp Mansion. But instead, they made it into a restaurant. I can't remember if ghost hunters went to this place to investigate, because I remember they investigated a bunch of restaurants in the past that were haunted. But that is still one deep, dark rabbit hole of tragedies in this family.
In 1986, the Snedeker family, Alan and Carmen, their 3 sons and daughter and 2 nieces, moved into a house in Southington, Connecticut. While exploring their new home, Carmen found mortician's tools in the basement, and she soon discovered that the property was once a funeral home.
Oh, heck no. If I found out a house was a former funeral home, I'll be wondering why would somebody try to convert it into an actual living home, because I'll be scared to death sleeping in there, because you never know if the spirits of the people that went through there never actually left, like their spirits are still there. You live in a funeral home, I feel like that'd be like bad mojo all over you.
It wasn't long before their oldest son experienced visions of evil spirits, and both parents claimed to have been attacked by demons. Demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren agreed that the Snedeker house was infested with demons. Since the family moved from the home, there have been no further reports of any paranormal activity. It is believed that the evil within this was drawn to the family rather than the house itself.
Okay, that's sort of good, but still, I hope they got all the evil out of there, just so they could continue living in that place. Because if they left and there was still something demonic there, I'll either call them back or I'll just say, that's it, I'm packing up and I'm finding another place to live right now. Because you definitely don't want your family getting hurt through demonic entities like that. Winchester House.
Located at 525 South Winchester Boulevard in San Jose, California, is the Winchester House, which was first built in 1884. Following the death of her husband, William Wirt Winchester, and with $1,000 a day inheritance in hand, Sarah Winchester sought the help of spiritualists to deal with her grief. Sarah had also lost her only daughter when she was just 6 weeks old. The spiritualist warned Sarah that she was cursed and advised her to build a home for the spirits. The spirits in question were said to be those killed by Winchester rifles. Sarah sold her home in New Haven, Connecticut, and began work on the Winchester House. If you continue building, you will live.
I tell you what, every time I seen the Winchester House on any of these ghost shows, I look at it in awe, because I would build a house similar to this, but I would not build it like she did, being instructed by ghosts to build multiple rooms or hallways that don't even go nowhere. I mean, it makes everybody confused. But other than that, love the architecture. But I'm sorry that the whole family got cursed, since the people that were killed by Winchester rifles are coming back to torment you. Very disturbing.
Stop and you will die, advised the spiritualist. Every day for 38 years, Sarah continued building. The property ended up with 160 rooms, 47 fireplaces, trap doors, secret passages, and staircase that led to nowhere.
Golly, over 160 rooms. Whew, that's a lot of dusting. But yeah, I always dreamt about having a house that had like secret passages for either hiding storage rooms or having a secret room to stay in just a case of like home invasion scenarios or just to have my own time away from any family members. Imagine going to that house to take a tour and then you just get lost when you run into a hallway that the stairs don't even go nowhere. I would be asking for a map of that place because I definitely don't want to get lost in this. Lutz Family.
On November 3rd, 1974, Ronald Butch DeFeo Jr. murdered his parents, two brothers, and two sisters with a .35 caliber rifle while they slept peacefully in their beds. Butch claimed he was tormented by voices that ordered him to kill his family. A year later, George and Kathleen Lutz moved into the Amityville house with their children after purchasing the 5-bedroom property for a low price.
Which I know later they're going to regret. Because if I found out if a house that I was moving into was the site of a brutal massacre, I don't know if I would want to move in it right away. I'll be getting priests to bless the house to make sure nothing evil's still around.
George reportedly then began to awaken at 3:15 a.m. every day, around the time Butch was known to have massacred his family. They also saw a pig-like creature with red eyes staring from the windows of the house, and the young children would levitate from their beds. Both George and Kathleen passed lie detector tests about what they experienced in the home, and eventually, they fled from the property. 112 Ocean Drive is still known as one of the most haunted houses in America.
And I can believe it. I've seen a lot of people talking about this house on other scary storyteller channels or even on the ghost hunting shows. It really gives everybody the creeps. Okay. If you guys were a fan of the Haunting of Hill House book, now you know which cases expired, basically. But still, all of them combined were just 100% downright disturbing and creepy. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I would even step foot in places like this or try to stay the night. Because if I hear any noises, I'll be like, that's it, I'm getting up, I'm out of here. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications for more Nightmare Files content like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man Score channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor. I say that's a wrap, and have a nice day, y'all.